Hi, this is Norman Kochannek here for Xtratime. Well, India on day 4 of the second test, the India versus Australia Border Gavaskar Trophy test, has in fact won and won comprehensively. Not unlike the way Australia finished in the first test, the Indians have fought back and a massive comeback. In fact, this is a legendary victory for India. It'll go down as a magnificent victory, not only because of the way they've come back from the first test, but to win the second test by 8 wickets in such convincing fashion, with the likes of Shubman Gill, also the way he batted with Rahane at the end, and Rahane hitting the winning runs after having scored 112 in the first innings. As a legendary captain of this test, the match will go down in history as being one of the best victories outside of India by India. Australia certainly didn't perform badly, but their batting certainly was let down. But more so, it was the Indian bowling that bowled so well to actually control the Australian batting and work out exactly how to get out the likes of Steve Smith, obviously Joe Burns in Labuschagne, and a number of the players who had actually been batting very well actually felt it very difficult to face the might of the Indian bowling. Jasprit Bumrah was outstanding throughout the entire match. He was very ably backed up by Umesh Yadav before his injury. Obviously, the debutant Mohammad Siraj bowled fantastically, taking some 5 wickets in the match and looking venomous every time he took the ball. Then, of course, the steady hands of Ashwin and Jadeja, they're supporting the overall bowling lineup and bowling particularly well, trapping Australia to one of the lowest run rates per over for a number of years. In fact, it's quite incredible the low score rate of this particular match. I think it was last time was 1999 against Sri Lanka, where such a match where Australia's run rate was so low. But not noting the actual last innings of the match, India were at 4 or 5 and over to rampage past Australia's score. The day actually started with Australia on 6 for 133 with the likes of Green on 17 and Cummins on 15. They then posted an early 50-run partnership between the two of them, and the second new ball was taken. But then things turned. Bumrah came on and bowled to Cummins, and at 156, the 7th wicket fell when Cummins could not control a ball that was short, popped it to second slip to Agarwal, and Cummins was out for 22. A steady partnership 57, certainly the best partnership of that innings, but unfortunately that led to a steady full of wickets, with Green, after having batted particularly well, scored 45, pulled the ball off Siraj, didn't time it perfectly, and was caught by Jadeja for 45. That was when the score was 8 for 177. Then the likes of Lyons and Stark, and then ultimately Hazelwood, tried to struggle their way through and put a little bit of resistance, with wickets then falling at 185 when Lyon was out for 3, caught by Pant off the bowling of Siraj. The 10th wicket, the final wicket, Australia were able to ink out, and for the first time in the series actually scored 200, but 200 on the dot, when Hazelwood was basically was out to a ball from Ashwin. Ashwin bowled particularly well. That led to Australia getting only a relatively meagre total, unfortunately their best total, of 200, with a lead then of some 69 runs at lunch. And that lead was what India needed to score, and they did it with quite a deal of ease after lunch. They did lose Agarwal early. He was caught by Payne off Stark for 5, and they lost Pujara specifically at the 8 when he was 3. He was caught by Green off the bowling Cummins at Gully. India were 2 for 19 at that point, but then Rahane came in and supported Shubman Gill in a particularly emphatic way in which they drove, cut and pulled deliveries at ease and cruised past Australia's score to be 2 for 70 and then win the Border Gavaskar Trophy second match by 8 wickets. Returning the score that was where Australia won the first match, India won the second. They're now tied at 1-1 in this series, which will make the next 2 tests extremely interesting, whether it's Sydney and ultimately Brisbane. Those tests will become very interesting indeed. So effectively, India won by 8 wickets, cruised to victory as I expected they would today, 2 for 70. The standouts yet again were Rahane in this test match. He actually won the inaugural John Muller Trophy, or Muller Medal in fact. The John Muller Medal is after the Aboriginal legend who played in 1868, prior to the very first test where they actually took an Aboriginal team to England, and that has now been concluded as a medal for this match. John Muller, of course, also was inducted in the Australian Cricket Hall of Fame in this month as well. So a very fitting Victorian of Aboriginal descent that has been now made the actual medal that will come out of this match. And legendary performances like Rahane deserved that medal, having scored 112, having set amazing field placements, having bowled and changed their bowls appropriately and worked out the batsmen like Steve Smith, Labuschagne, and ultimately Burns right through the team. That they actually had the measure of Australian batters. It's not so much the Australian batters not batting well, but how well India actually surmised what they should do to Australia, and the strategies that were in place by the cool and calm head of Rahane was quite incredible. Admittedly, Kohli is certainly the captain, and Rahane is a captain in waiting. Rahane certainly deserves his position as vice captain, and emphatic as he was. Obviously, he was supported by Pujara, who became vice captain. They both did a fantastic job. Again, this is quite remarkable. We mustn't forget the fact that this is a very fitting way of finishing, with Rahane hitting the winning runs to win the match. This is, again, a specifically significant day, historical day for India. They should be lauding this team, supporting them quite significantly back in India. India deserved the win, and they're one up. In fact, they won all, but they could well be 2-1 very shortly with the momentum flowing from this match. Amazing team effort. Everybody contributed. And again, the debutants, Gill, Siraj, then the likes of Jadeja and Punt, they all played significant roles in this match. And don't forget, they were without the services of Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Ishant Sharma, and even Mohammad Shami, and they lost Umesh Yadav through the match. 4 or 5 significant players. The players that came in played significantly well. This was a historic match, a legendary match. Goes down the history of the way that India have played. Substantial. This is Norman Kochannek for Xtratime. Please view, like and share the posts, and don't forget to subscribe to get more updates for the Test series, and wait to see where the next Test match will be. India certainly in the ascendancy. 8-wicket victory in the second match. This is Norman Kochannek, Xtratime.